the project of our entire life. First, let us start with same, Om Sahana Vavatu, grow. We grow together. We do not grow with selfishness. That idea should be settled in our mind. Even though we outside we are doing the same thing, we are doing the business, we are doing talking to someone, but if we don't have that intent in our life, there will definitely be a problem in coming days. So that is why the grow. Om Sahana Bhunaktu. So may we nourish each other. Nourish. Outer level and also the mental level. That is the mantra. Sahaviryam karva vahi. May we work together with energy. Intellectually, I know I am not the body. Right? The moment I see you, my differences with you pops up in my mind and I try to control. So I already have a conflict in my head. Forget about knowing the real self. It is already gone. Did you get it? That is why we are continuing the journey in 40 steps. Saviryam karva vahi tejasvinavadhitamastu. So our study means our knowledge should enlighten me. Let me give you one piece. That is what we are going to do in future. I am the real self, all pervading. When I wake up, when I say that, in waking state, I see the entire world outside. But what exactly is the waking? When the mind is aware of the senses and itself, that is a waking state. Leave the world outside. You see the subtle nature? Because first I'm aware of my eyes and then I see you. I'm aware of my speaking, addressing you. Very subtle notes are there. So that is what the master is saying. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. By consistent listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, you are a waker. You keep aside the world outside. Past impression do not enter into your head, so it does not causes any challenges of anxiety, duality, and a conflict. Are you getting it? Now, these Mondays and Thursdays session for the seekers who should contemplate and reflect. Ma vidvisha vahe, hatred, jealousy, why it comes to my mind? It does not enter into my mind in deep sleep. I'm not aware of the sense organ in the mind. In dream, it is there, but at the different level. And in the waking state, all my past impressions returns. So if I do the practice of the Shanti mantra every day without fail, let us take it, let us take it 5 to 10 minutes. It is going to help us. And then Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I have any craziness in my mind, then I say, oh, it is the known word. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You continue to do it. Continue to do it. Even physically, you fold both your hands. Oh, let me fold Namaste to the existence. Until the mind changes its state, its habit, its attitude. That is required. That is required. Thank you for continuing the journey. And not only thank you, you start applying these principles in your daily life. You are a teacher, apply it with among the students. And if you can apply the teachings wherever you have a challenges in the problem, you will be able to understand how this crazy mind is reacting, getting angry, getting agitated, and you can drop and dissolve. That is very important. Now the time has come that you should apply. Why to apply? Goal of the Eastern wisdom is twofold. Do you still remember? First is end of suffering. Now expand this suffering. Suffering in my personal life, in my professional life, in my social life, in my family life. So I have to bring an end to the suffering. I will become a millionaire by studying Eastern wisdom. That is the pain point I have. Obviously, if you start teaching, you will start earning the way I'm earning. So, end of suffering is the one. End of suffering. Remember, you have $1 billion and still you are suffering. So the first goal, and you can expand it as far as you can. You have a problem in relationship, in your personal life, in your professional, social life, you can get rid of it. Second is awakening. The first I have to recognize I'm aware. Oh, I'm seeking a pleasure from this, and that is why my mind is agitated. So you remind yourself, no, peace and happiness is within me. Your mind calms down. It has stopped wandering. In the very beginning, this thing should happen. Ultimately, we discover that the peace and happiness are our essential nature. So only twofold goal, and you can expand it. You can expand it as far as you can. You can expand it, okay, I need emotional emotional resilience or emotional quotient in my professional life. You continue doing it, it will come. Creativity, it will definitely come. Keep that intention alive and it has to come. So the twofold goal, it is very much compressed. They are the zip folders. Then what happens? As a seeker, I should not forget to do the practice. The moment you wake up, you sit on your bed, auspiciousness, Om Shanti 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 mantra, just repeat it. Check your mind. Is your mind aligning with it or not? If it is not aligning on that day, you have certain challenges posed by the past impressions. Past impressions. Body, mind, intellect, and ego. Maybe I may have a strong identification today. So I have to do this. Then listening and learning, I gave you practice contemplation and reflection, practice and experience, and 5 to 10 minutes daily. Just recall every event that happened yesterday. How many times you were unconscious, habitual, instinctive, and how many times you followed this teaching. You lived into that awareness. I'm a waker. Very good. I'm a waker. Waker plus an impression of hatred against you. It is different than the waking state, I told you. Are you getting it? Waker plus seeking pleasure from some object. It is different. Waking state is that I'm aware of the mind and the sense organs, which makes me aware of the entire world. Does it make a sense? Otherwise, I will invoke the verse. So today, why apply the Eastern wisdom? I'm trying to answer that. You can apply this Eastern wisdom. So it means in the background, goal of my life is to think, speak, and act in Eastern wisdom. It is inside. Goal of life. While achieving goals in life. Some people, many people have raised a lot of objections. I'm living a professional life. How can I enter into this spirituality? Did you understand? Goal of life is to evolve, is to rise in consciousness, is to awaken to our true nature. Is there any problem awakening to your true nature in your professional life, in your family life, the life with your kids? So our mind separates the two. That is also a greater ignorance. Anytime, anywhere, you are with it. Why? Because we have twofold goal: end of suffering and awakening. So otherwise, we can understand that professional growth is possible. Professional growth is definitely possible by applying this improved relationship. That is a very typical sensitive, so-called the sensitive area in modern life. I date with you, so what a good life, soulmate, and after that the soulmate. So I have to check the differences created by my crazy mind. That is the role of a seeker. What others are doing, let them do. Who may be very near and dear to you, but enough is enough. No, there is no enough. Mind must undergo a transformation if we are a seeker. For example, you used to react to the near dear ones. Now there is a reduction in the reaction. You minimized. And after minimizing, it is gone. Now your mind learns the way to respond, not to react. But social harmony, another area that I talk about is the social harmony, family dynamics. We can bring about a change in the family dynamics. But there are people whose mind they live unconsciously, habitually, they are not able to do it. So when you are applying that, you are giving them a space. If you are living and applying this Eastern wisdom with the near and dear ones, people will notice it that you are giving them a space. They will definitely point out, oh, I feel that you have changed a lot. You are not reacting to it. And then, that is the event to be happy. It is required now. Why it is required? Because the second step is the karma yoga. We need to practice. I have to apply that karma yoga the moment I wake up until I retire to the bed. Karma yoga has to be done in the personal level, professional level, social level. Otherwise, it will rebound. And managing your stress. Managing your stress is another area you can do it. Emotional intelligence, you can increase the emotional intelligence. Mindful living, the word that is normally used in modern world. Self-reflection. You cultivate the habit of introspection. That is what I say, the contemplation and reflection. Breaking negative pattern, you can break the negative pattern. Negative pattern manifest in relationship to the someone or some object. So when you raise your level of awareness, it is possible spiritual growth, and that is what. So that is why I want to revise this topic. That is what I said. First, you have to continue with the daily practice. And daily practice, then you have to focus on these two. That intention should be there. End of suffering and awakening to the peace and happiness. Ask yourself, what patterns do I observe in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening? What pattern is taking over my mind? That will help you to become aware of the waking state. Why? The waking state is definitely separate. I am aware of the screen, I'm aware of you all, I'm aware of the wall. So that waking state means I'm aware of the mind and the sense organ is looking at the wall. It will keep your mind with it. It will not allow the past impression. But now what happens, what we think in a waking state? Waking state plus anxiety, waking state plus hesitation, waking state plus hesitation. Are you getting it? Because, all these symptoms manifest in relationship to an object outside. And related to my past impression. Contemplate and reflect. Your mind says this guy is crazy. Does your mind say in the deep sleep? No, it does not say. Why it does not say? It is an unconscious. Mind is totally sleeping, unconscious. So what is the role of the mind? The role of the mind is to be aware, to have a perception along with the sense organ. Not to brand a person crazy, not to get attached to a person, maybe very near and dear to you first. Waker. Are you getting it? I'm simply giving you and that we will expand this, then you will see that how it helps you to expand yourself, to see that I am the real self of the nature of pure consciousness. Now, when you are reflecting, waker plus hesitation, waker plus attachment, waker plus all that we do daily in our life. What is this? Can you make it up? These are the impurities of the mind. What should I do? I should use the intellect. I should do the self-inquiry. That we have already done. So, what happens by doing the self inquiry? I have to use the intellect. Do you remember the righteous intellect? Oh, it means my intellect should follow these four types: righteous intellect, dispassion intellect, love intellect, and the real self intellect. Why? The intellect can take care of the impurities of the mind. Then what happens to the intellect? The power of faith. What exactly is the power of faith? I have given you, do you still remember? The sum of all the angles of a square or rectangle is 360 degree. We know it. Similarly, a seeker knows that I am the real self of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. The teacher says, prove it. That the sum of all the angles of a square is 360 degree. What we are doing, we are proving it that we are the real self by these practices. But behind that, there is a power of faith that I take it now that I am the real self. I am of the nature of consciousness. If you don't remember, how can you prove it? See that. Similarly, the way we want to prove. So that is why we recognize the impurities. We use the intellect for self inquiry, and the intellect reaches to these four types of intellect. And when we live into that four types of intellect with regular contemplation and reflection, we get the power of faith. Not only you get the power of faith, you get the power of decision, the choice. So I have a choice to get agitated with you or not. Don't you see the beauty to build a relationship? I live with you and I make it a point that I will never create any kind of reaction and hesitation with you. I've already built a relationship. But it demands a crushing of the ego. Power of faith says that I'm the real self, what I have to do with the ego. So power of the faith, power to make a choice, and then power to hold on to that choice. Why to hold on to this choice? Same example, you are living with a person who always reacts and you always respond. So you are holding on to the choice. Don't go for women liberation and men's liberation. That is a social activity. It has nothing to do with our journey of self discovery. How can I tolerate? How can you tolerate? Your mom tolerated you, you wet the bed, and now you are challenging others that how to tolerate. Think. I'm not saying that you should. So that power to hold on to that choice, if that is always there, then what happens? The intellect takes over the mind. There is a purity, and in that state of the purity, you are open to awakening to the peace. It's very easy to understand. Then why the people are not making the progress so fast? I will not spend too much of time, but I'll just indicate because of I have to analyze all the time which type of a seeker I am out of the four types of a seeker. Because that hesitation is an expectations to be met from the world outside. My mind is overwhelmed to meet that expectation. I am a distress seeker, I'm the first category. Even though I have made a tremendous progress. Are you getting it? Dennis has already explained millions of permutation and combination. They return to it. And they return. Uh, 5 minutes of hesitation disturbs you throughout the day. Have you noticed? It doesn't allow you to think properly. Now, now what I wanted to say. This is all about study the Eastern wisdom to study yourself. That is our first step. Do you see? I gave a broader picture. Oh, so you are not talking of the principle and concepts. No, I'm talking about how to study yourself. Do you see that? Our mind, obviously, mind has to learn objectively, but I have to make it subjective. What kind of a seeker I am? My mind was wandering somewhere. I missed this. Oh, I missed something what he taught. I will listen to it again. I will contemplate and reflect. But why I missed something? Maybe the impurity of the mind. Why this impurity of the mind? Oh, because I may be a distress seeker or I'm seeking something else. But what is the goal? Goal is to end the suffering and awaken to. So I did not say that is the first step in the end. I'm saying that this is what the first step is. This master is also the extraordinary master, lived in 8th century, who wrote these 40 steps. He has read all the 3,000 texts. He completed all the texts by the age of 12. And then he started applying these principles in his daily life. See that? So it means that by studying myself through these simple principles, I have a power of the intellect to take care of any suffering that enters into my mind. And as a seeker, I evolve. Yes, I get agitated. The whole day was disturbed. And then what? I contemplate and reflect and get rid of it. It is going to happen. It happened to my life also. It happens to life of everyone. When Buddha started teaching, the group started throwing the stones at him, hurt him. He returned home, contemplated, reflected, and then he said, oh, this is the right approach to teach. It takes time. Knowledge is realized in stages. See that? So when you incorporate these principles, life changes. So you make a mistake, it's okay, but follow it. Now it is the time to follow it. So today's talk and discussion focused on how to study yourself, to study the Eastern wisdom. I gave you all the references, four types of intellect, four powers of the intellect, four types of the seeker, doing um, doing this 5 or 10 minutes of the practice every day, and before you go to sleep, you observe it. You do it for a week. You cannot leave it. Cannot leave it. So, out of the 40 steps, the master says the first 15 steps is a preparation. But during that preparation, we change a lot. We change our attitude, our behavior, our responses, our relationship. We become the highest seeker. So the 16th step onwards, it is a journey of simply understanding and absorbing deeper into the meditation. So the next week, next session, I will just give you an overview of the 15 steps. But the first step is most important. Study Eastern wisdom to study yourself. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed and eyes are closed. Please, it's always good to be aware of the space all around your physical body. You see that I opened up and talked to you in detail. What exactly is the waking state? I woke up in my room and I woke up from the bed. No! Awareness of the mind with the five sense organs which perceives the world without any interference of the past impressions. You can instantly return to the space all around your body. Position in the posture, being comfortable. I explained you being comfortable in variety of ways. Pick up any. Being carefree. Being carefree. I explained to you. And now see, now you will understand what I discussed today. I said 6 neighbors. These neighbors, because of the impurity, ignorance, projection of the mind, is constantly repeated every day due to my past impressions or prarabdha. That is what I call life. And I say, oh, anxiety, I cannot remove it. How long you have? For the last 50 years. Oh, that is the nature, doctor said it. So what exactly we are doing, you see the 6 neighbors? You are just being aware of it. I am aware of the mind, 5 sense organs, and the world of people, of time, of place, of relationship is a neighbor. Now, sometime we do the practice first, and then I invoke these principles. And then second neighbor is the physical body. Our physical body, five sense organs, so we have a sensation in the body, but the steadiness and the comfort in the body is deeper inside me. I have a choice to feel you, either with the past impression or with my instinctive and the impulsive nature, or intellect with the clarity. You are a neighbor. Don't tell your honey that you are my neighbor. If they are not seeker, they do not understand Eastern wisdom. But internally, you know it. Third neighbor is the prana, the energy, the life. Continue to pay attention. I will add something about this hunger and thirst for understanding. So, prana, hunger and thirst are related to this prana neighbor. And that prana manifests the life. It is not my life. Life is only one. That is why we say the prana is all pervading. And the next neighbor is our mind. I told you, just check, be aware, the mind has some dualities, pairs of opposites of pain and pleasure, profit and loss, victory and defeat. And then come to the intellect with a strong likes and but how can I say that I like and I dislike without adding I word? Oh, so it is an I thought. Born in the intellect, then it has a likes and dislikes, then it goes to the mind, then to the energy, to the body, to the word, and it takes a fraction of what I could say, fraction of a macrosecond, macromillisecond. Why you say that? Observer and observed become one. We enter into ignorance and we start suffering. Supported by our sixth neighbor is the ignorance. So, who I am, if all these six are neighbors, we are proving it. Process of proving, not proving it now. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. Because we are still attached and somewhat past impression is there. Do you see that? Why I added this mantra here? So that we can get rid of, we can have a realization that we are none of these six neighbors. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu. May there be peace for all is one statement, and another statement, you disturb my peace. You made me crazy. What we are saying, may there be peace for all. Why? Because peace is my essential nature. Let the mind and the sense organ in my life manifest the peace. Where? All the six neighbors. Why? I'm selfish. My goal is to discover my real nature. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness for all. Instead of fighting with anyone else, fight with your own mind. What the hell, mind? Why you are agitated because of expectation? Why you have that expectation when you are complete in yourself? I know I have to invoke some principles. After all, we need something outside for physical survival. I will tackle that. The last one is Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. We have to contemplate and reflect, and sometimes it is good to contemplate and reflect. Uh, inde- Independent of the entire practice. Yes, eyes are closed now, already closed, looking inside the forehead, dropping Om Shanti, and start breathing long, deep in the hissing into the chest. Remember, equal duration of inhalation and exhalation. Om Shanti continues. Stillness in the body continues. You should enter into the joy of doing. Mind is not raising any objection of your dropping Om Shanti inside the forehead, deep long in the hissing breath, into the rib cage in the stillness in the body. If the body continues to move, obviously, the mind is not liking it. Why it is not liking it? Because of the past impression. Some one liner just to make you aware. So your intellect understands this while doing the practice. So that understanding resolves the crazy mind. Continue long, deep in the hissing breath into the rib cage. Om Shanti, dropping gently inside your forehead in the space. And you're enjoying. No, but my mind says no. Endurance. I gave you everything, all the tools. Why to prove? Just take it. I have to prove. That is why I'm listening and learning, and that is why I'm practicing. We are inhaling and exhaling equal duration of deep, silent, and hissing breath into the rib cage so that the ribs totally expand and contract with Om Shanti deep inside your forehead. I'm sorry, today I have done neti, so it is constantly. Now leave it, do nothing, pay attention to the flow of the breath. With Om Shanti continues. And now looking deep inside your forehead again, Om Shanti continues there. And now start breathing into the belly, deep, long in the hissing breath. And it is very easy to notice and observe. You inhale, the belly expands like a balloon. And when you exhale, you squeeze your belly, touches the spine. So it is not quick and fast breath. It has nothing to do with the Hatha Yoga practices of Kapalbhati and Bhastrika. No, not at all. Equal duration, continue the practice, deep, long, and the hissing breath into the belly. Om Shanti continues, and the stillness in the body continues. That is the tool we are using. But we are using the subtle tool, the power of intellect. The righteous intellect and the dispassion intellect, yes, but when? When the mind returns, mind says, I cannot do it, or it starts doing wrongly. Your intellect puts it into an order. But why we are doing it? The science will tell you breathing helps you, blah, 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 long list. No, our goal is to take over the mind. Science may have let them have an objection because our goal is different. Long, deep in the hissing breath, exhalation, you squeeze the belly. Inhalation, you expand the belly like a balloon. Om Shanti, stillness in the body. Endurance results into joy of doing. Joy of doing. Continue. At least we should intensify our effort as far as the breathing is concerned. So today we are doing 4 minutes each. And when you do the practice regularly at your home, it will happen. Now leave this, pay attention to the flow of the breath. Just look at the flow of the breath and changes in your experiences. And in that state, start dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of your fingers without touching it, to observe if all the sense organs remain present in the mind. That is why you're not touching it. You're doing it mentally. Om Shanti. So mentally you hear, mentally you touch, mentally you see. So it depends on the state of the mind today. Everyone's mental state is different. So there may be multiple ways of dropping Om Shanti to the 16 segments of fingers. So don't allow the mind to create a mechanical pattern. What it means, I said Om Shanti, then I forget, then I'm agitated, and then I say it again calmly. No, follow with clarity. We'll go into the deeper aspects of this step later. Continue. And now move the mind inside the cave of your heart. Visualize the triangle of any color, equilateral, and moving the mind on each side of a triangle, dropping on Shanti, clockwise and anti-clockwise to experience the sync. The moment you recognize, you find a sync and recognize the sync, that is the right moment, pushing the mind deep inside the cave of your heart, mentally singing Om. Keep on watching as the mind seems to stop, drop Shanti, and you are into a state of doing nothing. Or I say self absorption. It is one of the many stages of meditation. Now the mind jumps again and starts wandering. Do the same again to the triangle. Think and go back. No worries, don't get upset. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Your mind on the left hand. Lift your both palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. We'll share our experiences. Now, how are you, Stephen?
Good, sir. Thank you. I've been doing a lot of contemplating and reflecting and a lot of listening to the lessons over again. And there seems to be a main theme that keeps coming back to me. And it goes to the understanding of the mind is the evil part of all of this. So we have to separate that and address that on its own. And to do that, you continue to keep bringing back the basic principles of the Eastern wisdom. And so what I've encompassed now within my life and that understanding and separating the mind is that what you've been saying about the start of the day, just spending that 5 to 10 minutes is setting the tone for what I want for the day. And if I wake up and I think about something that happened in the past, whether it be yesterday or whether it was 40 years ago, it then takes my day forward. But if I can start my day with the Eastern wisdom and the teachings and the lessons that I've learned of the Eastern wisdom, it will help me to fight the mind. And then what I've done is that, I've shared with you before, is that I do spend that time, that 10-15 minutes before I go to bed every night, contemplating and reflecting. And sometimes it works against me because it's like, I could have handled that differently, and then that sets my tone for the next day in a negative manner. So what I started to do is again this level of awareness that's taking place, again the teachings of the Eastern wisdom, and looking at it in the moment that it's happening. So I want the Eastern wisdom to be a big part of my life. So therefore I start my day with the Eastern wisdom, and then throughout the day say, did I handle that situation according to the principles of the Eastern wisdom? And I can resolve it right then and there. So when my day ends, my contemplation reflection is, I had a really good day today. And my day just starts tomorrow with Eastern wisdom. So I'm sorry it took so much time to say that, but as far as my meditation goes, it was quiet and extremely cold. Thank you.
Beautiful. You beautifully said. You see the result when you do it in the morning, when you wake up, and you also reflect on it before you retire to the bed. So then what happens? You are preventing the past impression to attack you. You are preventing the mind to get crazy the next day and before going to sleep. And it does not take too much of time to reflect how many times I was anxious during the day. Oh, then you reflect it and you recognize, based on the principles of Eastern wisdom, why this is the reason. Let me drop it. Otherwise, what happens if you don't drop it? It creates a very strong grooves in your mind, and that is going to, you have to pay for it in the future. That is what, beautifully said, Steve. Stephen, thank you very much for sharing. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for the lesson and meditation today. That totally relates about the grooves that get created if you don't let the stuff go, right?
Yeah.
And through regular practice, I see how that works. And my meditation was a little distracted today, but I kept bringing it back. I have a pretty bad headache, so that was distracting. But
yeah, what is distracting is the impurity of the mind, and that impurity has its location in the past impression. So we just recognize it and we continue. Okay, thank you. You have come. I will take it later and let me continue to do it. Yes, remember those grooves No, I will not speak more. I'll talk later. How are you, uh, David and Richard? David and Jerry.
Good, thank you, sir. Yeah, kind of to Stephen's point, the thing that I've really noticed has made a difference for me is taking every morning at least half an hour with my journal and just reflecting and setting an intention for the day. And then before I fall asleep at night, I reflect on my day and my intention for the day. And I would say, my mother has a saying, the constant rain soaks in. And I think having that daily routine, whether it's Monday, Saturday, whatever day, every day, doing that has made a huge difference. The meditation was great, deep, kind of like Stephen, a little chilly, but great. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the routine has to be set in the morning and evening. You see that in the monasteries, in the ashram, we used to wake up at around 4 and you start chanting. Not only one mantra, but for half an hour you are constantly chanting. And even if you don't know the meaning. So, but after a few months, your intellect is asking why the hell I'm doing it, why I'm repeating. So your intellect awakens to that knowledge. And the same thing happens in the evening before going to the bed. Why I refer this? In modern times, what the David says, keep the journal. That's another way to do it. Keep the journal of every day. I'm still keeping the journal every day. And then what happens? Yesterday in the evening, before going to the bed, and I said, okay, this session I will, I will invoke this principle. Oh, I have to do this. So just it takes a minute because the mind is tuned to that. So beautifully. That is another way to do it and apply. How are you, Gary?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. I like the idea of the clean slate. So the clean slate maybe for the day, but then each moment in the day.
Yeah.
So that we get rid of the past impressions and preconceived notions, so that we really can experience the moments as a first time. And then also, oh gosh, what was I going to say? So the other part of it for me, I can't remember now what I was going to say. So I'll think of it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You see, what is very important when you use the clean slate, we are approaching that. What we are approaching, what I discussed, that the waking state is real self or consciousness reflected into the mind, and the senses are further embodied with the consciousness of the mind. That is the waking state. It has nothing to do with the moment I wake up. I associate with it. I don't keep a clean slate. Can I separate just a waker? I'm only a waker. That will help a great deal. So we are reaching there. Very good.
I do remember the other part is the proving of it. And so that's where the day, at the beginning of the day, setting that intention, and then at the end of the day, the contemplation and reflection proves it. So there's probably a lot more times in our day where we proved it, where we proved that we really were acting from the true self.
Yeah.
And then maybe just those couple times where we didn't. And I think the more we practice and the longer we have the faith, the more it proves itself.
Beautifully said. Even if you keep that desire or aspiration or intention, I am the real self, I have to prove that. But now I am into anxiety, what should I do? I have to prove that I am the real self. the force of that anxiety will dissolve. But if I don't have that aspiration in my head, then it will not work. Rightly said. Beautifully said. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the lesson. And yes, I apply the principles. I'm pretty regular with my practice as well. Mornings and evenings, 40 minutes to an hour. And I can see the change inside. I can see the increased clarity and peace, the ability to make right choices.
Good.
Right sense. Basically the increased quality of life, so to say, when I can enjoy the life more and have less distractions. Probably a side effect, but a pleasant side effect.
Very good.
And as far as my meditation, it was very peaceful, calm sensation, a lot of sensations in the body after the breathing, and very distinct feelings in the fingers, and dark space, calmness at the end. Thank you.
You see that everyone shares their experiences. You're doing the same practice, you're listening to the same principles, but the experiences are different. Means what experience I did not have today, it may come tomorrow too. So what he is looking that the quality of the life improves. Definitely. Quality of the life improves, that all the time, morning you wake up until you sleep, you are into that state. I used to say that, I'm totally intoxicated into that state of the calmness. I have taken a divine liquor every day in the morning. I used to talk long back, 25 years. That was the expression in those days. So it changes. Beautifully said. Thank you. How are you, Christina?
Thank you again very much. I'm noticing some synchronicities, like visions during our practice, like an owl I saw, and then I saw one out in the world, and then the power of choice today. I had an experience yesterday of two motorcycles passing me on a single lane highway on both sides of me, and I had no reaction. And I'm just noticing the synchronicities between what's coming up here and out in the world.
Yes, it is very important, because then otherwise why we are doing the practice? Then the practice becomes just a kind of taking a pill, that you are into 1 hour of session, there you find very good, and after that you become the same person again. No, we need a total transformation. So that is what she is explaining by the term synchronicity. Sometimes it becomes difficult for me to speak a word, so you are a beautiful. How are you, Terry? We haven't seen her trembling for the last almost many months. Yes.
I was far into my own world. I don't know. I was somewhere very far away, and I felt like a boat.
Somewhere in Europe?
What?
Where you were? Somewhere in Europe? No.
Someplace farther away. And I don't know, but I felt like I was a boat at a dock.
Okay.
And I was about to leave the dock. And then I was just going to go forever. And then I said, I had the thought, oh, of course it's infinite. Because how could you go forever if it wasn't? And then I thought, why did I think that thought? That was so funny.
Yes, yes.
Nowhere.
Yes.
But I had a lot of opportunity recently to apply the principles of endurance.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of difficulty making the righteous decision, and that's related to karma, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But your focus is on taking the right decision. That is all, because that will ultimately help bypass sometime the impact of the karma, also past impressions. So that too is required, because prarabdha of a tiger will continue because they don't have an intellect. They don't have a choice. So the lion remains the lion until death. But we can change. So that choice need to be exercised. Beautiful. How are you, Vaibhav? It's a beautiful sharing of experiences. I'm so happy. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, mine is calm. Practice was like deep. And from last session, like that, whatever experience that I am having, it does not change my natural state. It remains the same. So I always have a chance to improve, like whatever experience I'm having. And then it also helps me to recognize that how I'm acting right now with my current experiences, whether I'm reacting or responses, will become the memory for the future. So it is as my choice that I have to act today or how I have to respond to present experience so I can use it as a memory for future.
Beautifully. You see what he is saying? It's a beautiful way to analyze. Beautiful way that what I'm doing today in ignorance is going to accumulate the impression and will convert into my thought, speech, and action tomorrow. So I have to maintain my awareness today. So you see that you can understand the first step, study Eastern wisdom, to study myself today, not tomorrow. How it is possible, keeping a journal, doing it in the morning and evening, changing the quality of life. I'm just summarized everything. That needs to be done. And the best thing is that now the time has come. Don't say that I am the teacher, but invoke the principle. Oh, that is the way I think. In your relations with anyone with whom you had to settle a score. So instead of settling a score, you are invoking these principles with your mom, with your dad, with your friends, with anyone, partner, and see, oh, this is the way I am thinking. I'm thinking that if my mind is 100% clear, let me reset and take it. Use your own expression. But if you say, oh, I will teach you the Eastern wisdom, not at all possible, and especially to your near and dear ones? No. You have to use a different expression. That is all for today. Thank you very much. We will meet again. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.